From now, we switch gears and head back to the United Kingdom. President Bola Tinubu's state visit is in full swing, and our London bureau chief, Juliana Olainka, joins us in a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome back. What a conversation. But there's more to come as we head to the United Kingdom now for a recap of what seems to be progressing as President Bola Tinubu's state visit to the United Kingdom. And our London bureau chief, Juliana Olainka, joins us now. Hello, Juliana. We've seen the president's arrival. We've seen the grand reception of the president and his wife. And we understand that there's going to be a state banquet, but there may be no traditional lunch because the president is a Muslim and he is fasting. But from where you are, your coverage of his activities so far, what can you tell us about the high points of his visit?
Good morning. Good morning from a very bright and sunny United Kingdom, which is quite surprising because if you've looked at the weather recently, it has been cold, but it's very bright. Nigeria has brought the sun out to the United Kingdom, and as you said, the state visit kicks off proper today. So what is going to happen within the next sort of 40 to 45 minutes? We're expecting the airspace to be closed and all of the focus is going to be at Windsor Castle. So just for geography's purpose, I think most people, when you think of the Crown, you think of Buckingham Palace, which is the ceremonial home. But it is Windsor Castle where this event is going to take place, and it all kicks off from about 9 a.m. London time. So what we are expecting is that the Prince and Princess of Wales, Prince William, he will be the first royal that we see with Mr. President and the First Lady. They will be collected and received from the Fairmont Hotel in Windsor. The president arrived at the Fairmont yesterday evening. I'm seeing those pictures there. So that was at Stansted Airport, which is in the east of the United Kingdom. He then drove to Windsor at the Fairmont, so that's where the Prince and Princess will receive him. And then we will see lots of that ceremonial footage. That is where Channels Television will be stationed. So you will be able to see all of the carriages, all of the pomp and ceremony, which will drive through to Windsor Castle. There is a particular area called Datchet Road. That is where we're going to get the symbolism and those pictures that we're all used to seeing, the social media footage that's been flying around showing the Nigerian flag alongside the United Kingdom flag. That is where we're going to see all of the action. And then, of course, he will be greeted by King Charles III and Queen Camilla. So really strong imagery there. There will be a marching band, the Royal Artillery, the Nigerian national anthem, of course, will be played alongside the United Kingdom national anthem. We'll then be seeing His Excellency the President looking at the Royal Guards, the Guards of Honours. They will all be seen. And then, of course, as we say, there's going to be several private receptions between King Charles and President Tinubu. And now I think what a lot of people want to see is who is going to be at that state banquet. I think when you think of a state visit, it is that white shirt, that white tie, that huge table. Who's going to turn up? Who are going to be those key individuals that Nigeria wants to show to the world? Listen, I'm not underplaying this. This is a huge moment for Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, Africa. If you think about the last state visit that took place in the United Kingdom, it was Donald Trump. Donald Trump was just here a couple of months ago. Donald Trump was at that state banquet. And who's going to be there after them? Nigeria. So this is massive. If you think of the bridge between the continent of Africa and the continent of Europe, it is Nigeria and the UK. So who is going to be seated around that table is going to be incredibly important. From what I've been told, there are about 160 seats. Apparently, only 30 Nigerians have been invited. That's probably a controversial point, but we'll wait and see who's going to be there. So yes, lots going on. Very, very exciting. And for our viewers watching in the UK, or
Juliana,
for those who know Britain, the sun's out, which makes a big difference.
Yeah, just before we let you go, we know you have a very busy day. We can talk about the diplomacy, the handshake, the relations. This was done the last time, May 89 under IBB. The circumstances under that we could say is quite similar what is playing out right now. But for those Nigerians who are here, who are not seated in that hall, who are not going to be hosted, like, of course, the Nigerian president is hosted, by extension, we're all hosted. We're more interested in what will come out of this. So what can you highlight beside what has been listed as to what we should be expecting as a fallout of this diplomatic relations on the invitation of King Charles?
It's a good point, and I think that's the most important thing, right? What are we going to get? It's not just dinner and, you know, a Royal Artillery band. We want to see tangible results, and I think those are the conversations. So as to be expected, there have been significant sideline events. I was at about 3 or 4 yesterday. We know it was Commonwealth Week last week. So there's certainly lots of sideline discussions. The NGX are here, the central bank governor is here. We've got at least 6 or 7 ministers here, including the Minister for Trade. Trade is the biggest issue, I would say. That is the biggest area that we want to see a boost. We want to see a boost in trade. We want to see the small to medium-sized enterprises, those aunties and uncles, those selling in Peckham, you know, those selling across the UK. We want to see their goods coming in and out of Nigeria, because we know that the small to medium-sized enterprises are the engine of every economy. It's not just the Dangotes and the Boas. We want access to the market for every Nigerian. That's huge. Secondly, which may not be second to the president, may be first, defense and security. Let's not forget, Nigeria is a former British colony. You know, they owe a lot to Nigeria, and we know that Nigeria was struck on Christmas Day. There was mute from Keir Starmer. So I do believe that there is going to be a lot of conversations surrounding defense, but overall, what we want is, we want there to be an ease in trade. Visas as well, you know, the UK are getting more tough when it comes to who can and cannot come into the country. Are we going to be able to strike a similar deal to what India has been able to get with the United Kingdom, where they are going to make it easier for students, where they are going to make it easier for people to come here? So there's lots on the table, and we don't just want that photo opportunity. We want tangible results.
Indeed, Juliana, you do paint a vivid imagery of, you know, the grandeur that is marking this visit, and your coverage of what is to expect also, you know, raises hope against the skepticism that is marking the visit back home here, and we hope that those gains do come through. London Bureau Chief there, Juliana Olayinka, bringing us up to speed with President Tinubu's historic state visit to the United Kingdom. Of course, we'll touch base again with Juliana in the coming hours as that visit progresses.